Welcome in to the Bobby Carpenter Show. And there's our guy, Mr. Anthony Schlegel, here in Columbus, Ohio, feeling good about life. Schlegs, how off the jump, man? How was the weekend, sir?
My good man, the weekend. Let me tell you something, buddy. On Saturday, I drove out to Newark, Ohio, and had to pick up some pads that were going to St. Ed's, Missouri, and Choctaw High School out of Oklahoma. And I've been with the Dush family for a long time, 10 years. And it was good just to get out there. Again, they were hooking me up on a Saturday morning, getting these knocked out so I could ship. So I appreciated that. Drove back, dropped them off. Steph and Sam and his friend Austin were flying in and went to the farm, cleaned a little bit the night before, got groceries. And then I literally did nothing.
Really?
It might be the first time. I mean, I did stuff, meaning I did stuff for them. I had the fishing poles ready, rode four-wheelers, right, went fishing, shot 22s, baited traps. Like we did farm stuff, and I sat there. I had a bonfire going. I had a regular fire going. We had some filet mignons on the cast iron skillet. Listen, I just sat there and chilled for that honestly might have been the first time that I've been able to do that in 2 years. So it was, I told my wife, I was like, this is exactly how I like to chill, just so you know. And I haven't been able to do it because I've always been flying. So it was phenomenal, Bob. How was your weekend?
So I'm going to ask you this. How many more flights do you have left to Jacksonville?
One. So
will you be sad on that last flight when you're flying
down and back? That's one. I got 2 more round trips, Bob.
Wait,
actually, I have a round trip and a half because I'm driving back.
Yeah, so you're that last flight when you're flying down there.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait till we talk about that. Like we get to that show because you're gonna be flying down there, knowing you're gonna be driving home after that, and that'll have to be a pretty surreal feeling. The amount of times you've taken that flight. I remember my last time flying back from New York when I was working at ESPN, and I'd flown this commuter flight to LaGuardia it seemed like a million. It's probably 100 times and 100 some odd times. And coming back, the last one was kind of crazy because I knew that last one, it was COVID. And so it was going to be a unique situation. And I was like, I don't know how long that's going to be the case. As my young dude, my man Caleb just brought in my sweet new shades. Thanks, big dog. Appreciate you. Give me a pound. Give me a pound.
My guy.
There we go. Yeah, my sweet.
He just got back from the football camp.
Yeah, he did get back from football camp.
I saw him. He came up and gave me a shoulder.
Yeah, that's right. Good job, buddy. And so as I was flying back, what? Oh, you're talking about
Cullen.
Yeah, he's talking about Cullen. That was Caleb.
Sorry.
It's okay. All good, big guy. You're good. And so and so as I was flying, I was like, man, COVID was happening, and it's like, man, there's no one on the plane. So it felt kind of eerie, like it might be the last one. And then it ended up being the last one. But I didn't know it. But you going into that, you've done this flight so many times, knowing when you get off, you'll load up the house and you'll fly out of there. How many times do you think you'll ever go back to Jacksonville, Florida again?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because I feel like at some point my daughter's probably going to go back to school in Florida at some capacity.
Or will you fly into Sorry, it's not Florida. I know you'll go to Florida, but Jacksonville's a pretty unique place. It's not like it's a heavy tourist destination unless you're going to be going in to the the southern part of South Carolina, Savannah, like down there. Maybe you would fly in for that, but I can't imagine that you're going to probably be there within the next year. And for some time,
no,
I've done this so many times, it's going to be very unique.
No, it's going to be great. The fact that I can actually then pour to my wife and kids in one location and be able to leave work and go enjoy them or go enjoy the farm. Or, I mean, Bob, you asked me to be able to do some philanthropic stuff, which you do a phenomenal job doing. And I honestly say no, simply because of my time when I'm here. And Cullen was just at the football camp. Sam's at the football camp at Upper Arlington. Stuff down at the farm in Logan Elm. And I love that area, to be able to be back and give back with the time that you have and be selective, but also be able to do those things. Tress is doing a lot of stuff. We do a lot of stuff with the Buckeye Cruise. It will be great just not to have to make that trip. And I actually think my life's going to completely change, which is phenomenal because I've known it for one way for 2 years, and I'm excited to do it. I think the show will continue to be better because I'll be able to go to the Woody like later today. After this, the boys get done with football camp. They're going to come here to the Armory. They're going to train with Jay, and then I gotta go up there for something because they're getting some Hawken force plates on their striking machine. So I'm gonna go talk to Coach Mick, but I'm gonna take Hoots boys and Sam and his buddy, and I'm gonna show them the Woody while I go drop some stuff off to them. And that's what it is. I mean, we have a unique perspective because we can be in and around the facility without also being in and around the facility to where it's like commonplace, but they need to see it. They need to see what dudes do. And also like what you do with the recruiting weekend, because I want to hear about your recruiting weekend because it was a huge one for Ohio State. But being able to be in that mix, and also while guys are going through it, to be able to be that for, a Peyton Pierce, who I know his dad really well, he's a Texas guy. Like just the proximity of where we live now opens that door up to doing other things. I'm probably more excited about all those other things that I'm able to do now that I don't have to commute. That took 2 days out of my week every single time I flew.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot going on. We also had the memorial going on, and we didn't end up going up on Friday. I got outvoted by my wife, who it was raining all Friday.
It was terrible.
And I was going to stop at noon. So I was like, okay, man, I can maybe go up and do some of that. And we did the show early on Friday because of that. But then I'm like, it's supposed to rain now till 5. And I was going to still go and truck through it, but Court wanted nothing to do with it. So I said, okay. I didn't want to go by myself. And a couple of people that I was going to meet up with there didn't go. No, I didn't get to see my dude Beam, which kind of stunk because I want to spend some time with him during the day. But it's it was a good time. I think Saturday and Sunday, everybody that went out said it was great. Oh, and I can't wait. Before we get that Sunday, I saw AJ over down at the Fortress at Obet's. We out there for big lacrosse day. My son Cullen, rising 6th grader, and he had Hendricks, who's going to be in 7th, and then Axe and Ved, who are going to be in 4th, and Caleb will be in 2nd. So they'll be in 4th and 2nd grade. And they were out there playing. It's awesome. We got to watch 2 dads, coaches in 2nd grade kids lacrosse, which is like, I mean, it's like watching little kids soccer. They can hardly pick the ball up. There's no goalie. You have to try to pass it one time before a shot. And these dads were getting in a fight. And the guys like, quit talking about the women like this. I'm like, this is awesome. And then they had a rematch and they played later, I think in the championship or whatever. They had people from the staff from the tournament behind them watching them, I think, to make sure that it was all good. But AJ and I just sitting there, I was like, this is beautiful. I see him. What Courtney goes, is that AJ walking up? I'm like, it kind of looks like him, but he's like walking like my dad. Like he's got like kind of like limping a little bit. And I'm like, hey, yeah, it is him. And I walk, I was like, dude, you all right? He's like, no, I'm not all right at all. He's like, my back. He's like, it hurts to walk. It hurts even more to stand. And I can't sit down really. It was bad. And so he's like trying to squat down and move. And he's like swinging one leg as he was walking. It was so remarkable. And I felt bad for him. I was like,
yeah,
I'm like, back pain. He goes, the good news, the silver lining is my knee doesn't hurt as bad because it's all focused in on my back. He's like, so I got that going for me. I go, absolutely.
Always think about the positive.
Yeah. I'm going to find that silver lining there, Age. But it was cool getting a chance because we had a lot of time in between games. So I got to watch almost a whole game for each one of his 3 boys, and he got to watch Cullen play a little bit because we were on there. We actually followed them like on fields a couple times. So I'd watch the beginning of the end of the last second half of theirs. He'd watch the first half of our game before they were moving all around. Beebs gave me some great little snacks while we were there, which was great. She always has the nice snacks around. So that made the day a lot better, obviously, and getting a chance to see them and have some of those conversations. That was a lot of fun. And he was talking when I brought up the memorial. He was like, I pray that I don't. My son, he's like, Lord, do not encourage them to go to the memorial after this. He's like, I cannot hardly walk here. The last thing I want to do is go walk around on those hills and be limping around with that. So he's like, let's not talk about that when we get back in the car and we're heading home. But we can throw this up here. It's always funny. Like you see, the golfers there, and the memorial is they do an unbelievable job putting it on here at Muirfield, and it's wild. When you go out there, the Buckeyes are usually always a huge draw wherever they're at, and whether it's the memorial or whatever. And Sonny and Caleb were out there. If we can pull this up, and this was them at the memorial, Schlegs, just holding court. I think their girlfriends were with them, and like just taking pictures with tons of people, like lined up as if they're the attraction that people are there waiting to see them.
Oh yeah, and I mean we're in Columbus, Ohio, and here these dudes are just trying to go out watch some golf, and kudos to them for like that's what it is. We did it all the time after games wherever else we went to. It's just part of being a Buckeye, man. Like you want to go out there and enjoy some golf, but you also know that you're going out and people want to take pictures of you, and I think it's what I'm gonna say about that. It's why you recruit those type of guys. They understand that it's bigger than them, and they are the current flag bearer of Ohio State. And when you go out in public, that's the expectation. And you have to be personable because you're also a reflection of your head football coach, your D coordinator, right? In their instance, your position coach, and the Buckeyes. Regardless of where you are, where you played. I mean, I went to a graduation party and there was somebody there that was an intern in the equipment office that worked with Coach Johnson in 15. And I was like, what's up? How you doing? We're just talking. And there's another guy there. And there's like, that's what it is. It's Buckeyes, man. And that's what you do in Columbus, Ohio. Good for those guys that they are the main attraction, even though, again, who did I say I was rooting for? Sky Scheffler end up winning.
There you go. Well, he's Highland Park Schlegs. He's the, along with you, Stafford, and Clayton Kershaw on the Mount Rushmore of Highland Park alum. So that's a big deal. Look at that.
Doak
right
Walker.
There's your boy. No, dude. Listen, Doak Walker doesn't. He's off the list. You bumped him off of there, Schlegs. But Scotty Scheffler won that. I mean, he's your guy, Schlegs. So that was a big deal. Won it back to back. Yeah. So that's
it was a hard course this year, man. There was a lot of people. I think it was. I was looking. I mean, the group of even and minus was very, very slim. A lot of pluses on that course. Played really tough. And he was consistent. I think his score was like 70, 70, 68, 70. I'm like, dude ended up running away with it. Playing well, man. Playing well.
Something to be said about consistency in this world, Schlegs. As we were talking about Sonny and Caleb, outside of JJ, are those two guys the biggest stars on the team, you think? Like most recognizable, like faces of the program? Because with the quarterback kind of in limbo, it feels to me, outside of Jeremiah, who everybody loves, and he's obviously big time ball. But are those two guys the next two dudes?
I would say the answer would be yes, and the reason is because those are the only two definitive guys. Okay, let's. I mean, honestly, it's not that many, but IGB starter coming back. IGB doesn't talk a lot.
Well,
he would be somebody that he talks a lot, on the field and with us, right? But he's not like somebody that you see out and about.
He called Higgs what did he call it? It was an unbelievable not replica, something a counterfeit Big Show. It was an unbelievable. They're talking trash, and IGB called Higgs. He goes, I honestly had to laugh because I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a great comeback. Higgs was probably what? You look on the offensive side of the ball. The only person that I would say, because you lost the entire running back room, tight end as far as G, right? So you have some new guys that are stepping up, guys that played, but like not full-fledged starters like those two were. Carnell Tate would be the only one on offense that is a returning starter, prevalent, you would know. don't necessarily know if he goes out to a lot of those type of events. So, and then defensive line, they're all new or they had spot duty. So, yeah, the answer is those are the two outside of Jeremiah Smith, the most recognizable people on the 2025 Ohio State football team.
I think Sonny, obviously being from Pickering,
Central Ohio.
Central Ohio, I think that adds like a little cachet there. But those two guys, I think they'll be obviously two of the front men for this team, two of the guys who probably are in the running schlegs for the Iron Buckeye this year. What that
or
means.
The O, right?
What?
Or the Block O.
Or Block O, yeah, both. I mean, those things all are kind of wrapped into one. I mean, you're tough to be the Block O if you're probably not one of the Iron Buckeyes. So it's interesting to kind of see that. But as I was just watching that, I'm like, man, like if Jeremiah was there, it'd be huge. But those guys, I think, are probably it. Like you talked, Will Howard's gone, Seth McLaughlin, like all of the dudes that you would see, those guys are all there. And I think Carson probably has like a pretty good platform as well. But those are kind of it, I think, and those are the dudes. And it's interesting. So we start talking about that. We start talking about NIL and a little bit of fame and everything there. We got a little game I want to play with your Schlegs after this, and that's what Pat and I were talking about. Because I sent something over to him without sending it to you.
Ooh.
Because it's a little deal I wanted to play with, and so we're going to play a little game involving some NIL and who are the biggest guys in the NIL space across the country. I mean, some of those guys. So I want you to put your thinking cap on here for the next couple minutes before we get to it, and we're gonna play a little game with you. But before that, I want to tell you, attention, parents, athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to help absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including a patented use of carbon fiber that they 3D print, customize right to your grill. That means more protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication. So you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Do not take chances with your safety. Go to exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. Who are the biggest NIL players in college football? We'll find out next on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, welcome back into the Bobby Carpenter Show here, Schlegs, and figured I'd grab this little guy and pull this thing up. If you were to guess, Schlegs, I'm trying to think how the best way to do it.
And this is college football.
College football NIL. It is.
I got it. Let's go. I'm ready.
I don't know how completely accurate this is, where they got this, and everything. The top 10 NIL earners in college football.
Okay.
Do you think Ohio State has has a player on there?
No.
You don't?
I don't.
If they did, who do you think it would be?
Either Caleb or JJ.
Okay. Well, you're wrong. On the first part, Ohio State does have someone in the top 10.
Okay.
And it is JJ.
Okay.
So you got the other part right, with reportedly $4 million a year.
Okay.
Allegedly. And I don't know if
it's more than I thought. It's more than I thought.
Who would you think is the number one earner in the nation?
I'm going to say it's a quarterback.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, actually, there's one basketball player on here, but everybody outside of JJ
is a quarterback.
Okay. There's one
I would say probably number one would be the Cooper guy from Duke, because I saw a
Oh,
report.
he's
that he
gone
made,
now. He doesn't count. He's not coming
okay,
back.
so this is next year. All right,
Yeah.
so I'm not going to know the basketball guy because I don't follow college basketball.
Yeah, don't worry. He went to BYU. Don't worry about him. It's not a big
I'm going to say it's probably Carson Beck.
Okay. You pretty good. He's not number 1, but he is number 2 at 4.3 million.
Dang, that's so bumpy.
It is.
Wow, so that's higher. So JJ's up that list if he's at 4.2.
Doing so. JJ is actually coming in at number 3. He's right behind Carson.
Okay.
Do you have another guess on who number 1 could be?
I would be the only person I think of. I mean, Arch Manning or
okay. So
I don't think like
trust your instincts.
No. I'm just going through like people that are returning that would require the dollar amount, right? So Arch Manning would be that guy. You're going to look at I'm just talking about your list now of top 10, Bob, but you got Aller, you got, isn't it Rattler who's the kid from South Carolina?
Sellers.
He's on that list, guarantee you. Who else?
Better than I thought. I mean, I thought you might not.
The hardest part about this game, and I'm going to be dead honest with everybody that's out there listening, I don't see how people are getting an ROI through the NIL in these areas. That's all.
Like that's ROI. You're paying for your dudes to come play.
No, that's my hardest thing. But like, who's flipping that? Like every time I look at it, I mean, again, these people probably like did well in their business and they can just sling that kind of money, which is honestly above my mind rationale.
Well, because if you gain utility from watching Ohio State football win games, then that's going to matter to you.
For sure.
And so like having great players helps. So you were right. Trust your feelings, Luke. Arch Manning coming in, $6.5 million is number 1. Now, they said he didn't even take any money from the Texas Boosters. Apparently, like that's all real NIL dollars, which I could see. Like if you're a quarterback at the state of in the state of Texas for the
state of Texas. I mean, it's prevalent Texas over Texas A&M.
Well, it's a huge state, and they care a lot about football, and they care a lot about the Longhorns, and so I could see that value. Carson Beck, as you mentioned, at 4.3, number 2. Jeremiah at 4. It's crazy. You had Sellers in there too, Schlegs, the South Carolina quarterback, very, very talented, really good player. He's sitting there at number 6 at 3.7 million. And so that's obviously up there, pretty good. DJ Lagway at Florida is number 5, who he's a very talented young player and making 3.8 million. And
why they have a chance and probably why they didn't get rid of Billy Napier.
Exactly. Because people are like, are they worth it? I'm like, if you're Billy Napier, DJ Lagway is worth every cent that he got out of that money because you have a job because of him. You beat Ole Miss because of him. He's a tough dude. He was playing when he was beat up last year, broken, out there grinding, trying to do whatever he can. Like, he's a dude that you like paying because he's a tough guy that's a leader.
And it goes back to even, I'm going to throw this out there to you guys. When you do the NIL now and your job is on the line, remember that he was splitting time earlier in the season with number 15. I forget his name.
Graham Mertz.
Mertz. But like, why? Like, play the dude. It honestly reminds me a lot of 2011 when you had Bowserman and Braxton. And I was very adamant. I was like pounding the table. I was like, play the horses, man. These are the cards you're dealt. Let them run. You know what I'm saying? Like, play them. Like, there's no saving for next year. Like, you got to, especially when I saw the ball go into the 5th row of the stadium, I was like, what the Sam Dickens? Yeah, I was down there. I was like, I'm watching it. I was like, what in the Sam Dickens is going on here? Put that guy in. Like, please, can we do this now? Is it over? And again, what would that have done for, Florida? What would that have done for Florida at the beginning? If he had the reps, like, all right, it's even. Yeah, he's a senior and he's experienced, but this is what brought you here. And he's showing improvement because when you go and evaluate coaches, and I think you're starting to see this now because you have NIL money tied up, you have coaching staff money tied up, the buyouts are very expensive. Like, you got to let it rip when you got it because the coach is going to show, hey, our guys are still playing. He's going to make a jump. The quarterback position is obviously the number 1 position. It's the hardest position, but it's where the dollars go. And this guy is committed to that particular coach. So like, let's go. Let's show that he's developing. Because if they don't, then it would be like, oh, do we need to make a change? And then because we have this talented player, who can we bring in that could keep him there? Like, those are all the things that boosters and ADs are now having to think about more so than ever.
It is. It's very interesting. And I think it's why coaches, I think this is like only the third time in the last 20 years that there wasn't coaching turnover in the SEC. No one got fired or no one left. And I was like, well, who was the year before? And I forgot. Nick Saban was the guy. He didn't get fired, but he just retired, which doesn't obviously happen very often with college coaches. Usually they're resigning under pressure, if not being terminated. But I think you're seeing that, Schlegs. Then the reason is like it's the cost of getting it done and the fact that the guys can get in the portal. And so, like, if you fire Billy Napier, DJ Lagway, he probably gone. Like, he's out of there. And so that's why I was joking, like, there people fire Ryan Day at the end of the season. Like, you like JJ, right? Because he's probably not going to be there if Ryan's gone. You know, and Caleb Downs, oh yeah, he's gonna be gone too. Like, all these guys that you love so much will be out of here. Couple other players.
Look at Seth. Look at Julian.
Yeah,
you know, look at Caleb. I mean, it was
because their coach left. That's the only reason that they left Alabama, was because their coach left. So yeah, then with that, Schlegs, a couple other guys in here. Garrett Nussmeier, the Florida's
that's right. No, LSU's quarterback.
LSU's quarterback, and people are talking about him being potentially number 1 overall pick. And I don't know if I'm all there with him, but very good player, and they're going to need him. Like, if you're Brian Kelly, like, he needs to be worth every penny of that this year, because you need to win 10 games and you need to make the CFP. And so there's a big part of that. Then 8 is Cade Klubnik at 3.3, Clemson's quarterback. And he played a lot better last year, and he's going to need to have a big year this season as well. And then you mentioned Drew Aller coming in here near the caboose for the Big Ten, $3.2 million. And what's interesting about Drew Aller, so he's like, I don't think he's played to that level yet. He's been good and really good sometimes, but like all of these other quarterbacks on here, I'm like, these guys have like legit won games for their team because of them. I don't know that I've seen Drew Aller go take it and go win you a game to put you on this list quite like that yet.
Yeah, I just remember going over the Penn State game when we were covering it, Bob, and it was like, hey, if you just affect this guy, he can't throw the ball past 7 yards. Like, all this stuff was the running backs, and they don't have a ton of wide receiver weapons. Like, that's kind of the hard thing. Difficult for a quarterback to go win you a game when you don't surround them. You know, they had Warren there, absolutely great athlete, tight end, could do a lot of things, but that was your only outlet. You didn't have any kind of support around him. You had a really good running game, but you stopped down the run, you put it in his hands. How is he going to able to go make that play? You got to get him some help on the perimeter.
Absolutely. And so a little bit is it him?
And play calling and not being scared to call plays.
Push the ball, but you got to have guys that be getting open down the field, and some of that's on the player, and some of that maybe is on the play calling, and then some's on the quarterback. We'll find out this year kind of how all that aligned and what that ultimately looked like. And then Sam Leavitt, the quarterback at Arizona State, who I thought played really well. I didn't watch a ton of them throughout the early part of the season, and then once they kind of became dark horse contenders for the Big 12, I started watching them a little more, and everyone probably saw him obviously play in the playoff and looked pretty good. So going to be fairly interesting to see how all that ultimately shakes out with that. But I thought that was pretty darn good stuff, if you will, for that. We're going to take a quick break. We will talk. So we're going to stick with that NIL theme because you brought up Cooper Flagg.
Yeah.
We're going to talk a little bit about that and the structure of some of these deals and how that works. And is it good? Is it not? We'll talk all about it all next here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
All right, welcome back to the Bobby Carpenter Show. If you're liking, please like, subscribe, leave your questions, comments, all of those things. We really appreciate it as we move forward. And I saw this come out, Schlegs, the Cooper Flag
Man,
situation, and how much money he was making in NIL. Now, it was reported that he made around $28 million in his deals at Duke. Now, what's interesting with this, Schlegs, and some of that was, apparel and shoe and different things like this. But some of these deals were multi-year that were going to transition with him into professional basketball and going to go with him. As a business guy, and listen, you run businesses, Schlegs, you do all this different stuff. As a business guy, do you think that is wise for the companies? And then look at it from the player's perspective. Where do you fall in on that as well?
yeah, my biggest thing for the multi-year deals is, especially they're looking at what he's going to be able to do on the NBA, and then the world landscape that is basketball and the NBA's presence in basketball's presence across the globe. And those numbers are just different than they are in football, because though the NFL is doing some things, and you have flag football now in the Olympics, and they go over to London and they go over to Germany and they play down in South America or what have you, it's still not a global game. Basketball is. And especially with the competition, the Olympics being significantly better, it makes a lot of sense for those deals, because it's upfront money, knowing that he was probably going to be, they're hedging some bets. Yeah, he's going to be a guy that's going to go into the league after 1 year. We could get it cheaper now and develop that relationship. And then when he goes, we still have 2 more years of that deal before we have to get another bigger one. So how can we maximize that value? Makes a lot of sense when you're talking basketball, not so much football when you're talking about the geographical landscape that is the people that like to support football.
Well, and the thing is too, with it, it's just tougher, much tougher to predict, I think, in football. It's like, who's going to be really good? Like if you're talking about signing a kid out of high school and then having that carry over, number one, it's 3 years that you're going to have to be in college on the football side. And then just being predictive of how good that guy is going to be. Like that's a much more difficult situation. I mean, think about this. Quinn Ewers was reportedly number one quarterback in his class, can't miss, all these different things. And he was a really good college quarterback. And I don't know if I completely agreed the fact that he went in the 6th or 7th round, whatever the heck it was, but that's where he went. And that was supposed to be the can't miss guy.
Right.
It's like, how do you that's why it's just so much harder, it feels like, to be able to project that moving forward.
Well, it's funny too, like we discussed Cantwell.
Oh, yeah, the tackle, yeah.
Tackle. And reportedly getting, $2.5 million to go down there. What is he probably going to do his freshman year? Now you're sitting, you got a $5 million contract. He gets his value. You get your value in year 2, and he's playing. But then, even with that, and again, why I don't mind him not being a Buckeye. He also just set the number 3 all-time shot put in high school in the United States. So he's also going to be doing that. And when does that take over? And what if he decides to you know what? I don't want to play anymore. I want to go focus on track and field. But yet you've invested all that money to somebody else that leaves to go do that. Hard pill to swallow. Not a good business investment when you're talking about Miami, football LLC and Ohio State football LLC. There's too many variables, and the development in this sport is just different than it is anywhere else. And now, not to mention that, but you also have coaches that move new systems that you have to understand when they come in that directly impacts your performance. The people that are on the team that you're throwing the ball to, or your protection impacts. Because I remember his junior a year ago, he got hit a ton at Texas when they I think they were 8-4, something like that. Starks last year before they went on this run this year. Those are all things that you got to take into consideration in football. You don't have to necessarily do that in basketball.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Schlegs, in saying that. And it's a very, very good point.
Thanks, man. That's what we're on. That's why we're on the Doomajig.
Yeah, we're on the Doomajig talking about Doomajigs. Court tried to say Doom is something yesterday, but it wasn't Doomajig. And I go, it's Schlegs refers them to just Doomajigs. So she was like the Duma thing or something. I don't know, something like that.
Fair enough.
Wasn't as good as your delivery. I want to tell you about our friends over at Backer Strikes. It's bckr.com. Great new Buckeye gear for big-time Buckeye fans. Premium gear. I had the jacket on yesterday. It's got UV protection in it. It was sunny, but it was a little chilly, windy. Didn't want to get burned. Helped keep me warm. It was absolutely tremendous. Go check them out. It's bckr.com. Premium gear for a premium price, from hats to all their different types of coats. They've got some bucket hats that are now they're demoing to try to get out here soon. So all kinds of stuff that you're going to love and want to get a chance to check out. It's the high-end outdoor gear that you love, the nice hunting and fishing, skiing gear, all those things. It's going to be that. So go to backer.com, bckr.com. Use promo code Bobby, all caps, BOBBY. That'll get you expedited free shipping. And again, that's backer, bckr.com. Go check them out. All right, coming up next, we got our headline, Schlegs.
Creative, experience, results. That's what drives growth. That's what builds brands. That's Lake Spur Marketing, a full-service agency built on trust, strategy, and performance, not fluff. From bold strategies to flawless execution, every campaign is rooted in smart planning and driven by clear goals. We don't chase clicks. We build partnerships. We show up, dig in, and deliver every single time. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in our partners.
And now it's time for headlines, brought to you by our friends over at Lake Spur Marketing, your full-service ad agency built on trust, strategy, performance. Lake Spur and their team are going to shield you from the unnecessary nonsense that you don't need to do and let you do what you do best, which is work on your business. They've got the experience you want. Over 100 combined years of marketing experience. Lake Spur does what you need to do. They eliminate the fluff, the waste, and they deliver on budget. They don't chase clicks. They build partnerships. Lake Spur Marketing. The proof is in their partners. All right, Schlegs, we were talking a little bit before about the state of Texas, and one of the most memorable coaches that I always loved. I remember him from his time at Texas Tech. Is Mike Leach.
Oh, it's a good one.
It is, and it's great because for a long time you had to have a 600 career winning percentage as a head coach to be
60%.
600.060. Like if you bat 300 Schlegs, you're batting 30%. So they call it like a 600 winning percentage.
Okay, I got you. I understand. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Or win 60% of your games. There you go. Also true for you. To be able to get into college, to be eligible as a coach for the College Football Hall of Fame. And Mike Leach, he took the job, and I think he lost a couple of games or whatever. It's crazy with everything. And he was over 600 at one point, and then due to his untimely passing, he finished under 600. So he was ineligible for the Hall. And I guess they changed it now where you can be 59.5% to be able to be eligible to ultimately get in there and win it. And so Mike Leach, who is one of my favorites, dude, his conversations at coaches meetings, the way he looked at the world, it was just so interesting. He is now going to be eligible for the College Football Hall of Fame. Well,
I also think not everybody goes to a bona fide school and is able to win a lot of games. There's a lot of times, meaning Ohio State, right? Where you're able to recruit the talent. A lot of them is you're going to have to develop that talent, and that winning percentage, 1 here, 1 there, 7-5, 4-8, 4-8, 10-2. Like that's just how it works. So the winning percentage is something you 100% have to take into account because that means that you're winning games, and winning is what we do. But you also look at the impact of the game, and I mean, literally, they moved it down half of a percent, right? So 60 to 59.5, he was there, and then he untimely passed. It's like, man, he could have, he goes 7-5, like he's above it. Like, so when is that number? But it's the impact that he had on the game of football, and how he coached and his presence and how he's impacted the game. I think that's the why.
And one interesting, if you want to throw that picture up there, I was reading through this, and I don't know if this is 100% true or not, but one of the comments, Schlegs, I guess one of the players' shoulders that he's sitting on is, I think, their billionaire booster now at Texas Tech, the guy that's giving them a ton of money to be able to buy
Nice.
whatever they want. And so that's the story that you love to hear. Like, the guy came in there, loves Texas Tech, loves the Red Raiders. He's one of these guys now that is apparently a billionaire and one of the big boosters. So that would be awesome. I hope that's the truth that was throwing there. But also one other guy who I work with on XM that this helps him. Rick Neuheisel was a coach at Colorado, Washington, and then UCLA, and they vacated some of his wins, Schlegs, when he was at Washington. The NCAA did, because of, I want to say it was some NCAA betting pool that they had, like a March Madness bracket, and like something happened, so they vacated some of his wins. And in doing that, he also dropped down below 600, so he was never eligible, and he's above that 59.5% threshold, and so he'll be eligible as well with Mike Leach. Love Rick Neuheisel, awesome guy, the coach, being able to get it done as well. So great to see that. Happy for those guys getting in there as well. And boom, that was our headlines for today. Up next, we've got our tailgate talk where we answer your questions. So fire some questions away in the chat and your comments, and we'll get you answered up with those here, as we are off and running on a Monday on the Bobby Carpenter Show. All right, Schlegs.
Talk, baby.
Who's
Bring your truck to life.
It's our tailgate talk brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. Like I told you, I was doing some dude stuff with the winch, ripping bushes out and everything on Thursday, feeling good about that. So they got all the products you need over at realtruck.com to take it to the next level. Schlegs, some people in the chat want to know, who's your baseball team?
Yeah, I just put him in there. So it's like, I wish you would just hated baseball. Thanks, Joe. I like the Rangers because I'm from Dallas, and I remember going to, when they had Pete Incaviglia and obviously Nolan Ryan. I mean, later in his career was a Ranger, so I've always liked the Rangers and the Cubs because I had family that lived in Evanston. Well, actually, it was Wilmette, but then my brother or my cousin, he lived down in Wrigleyville when I was older. And we would go.
I have a brother.
But we'd go to the games, right, when I'd go visit him. But I also, like, in the state, I like the Indians because I like the way that they play ball and establish their rosters and don't spend a lot of money. Like, they do a great job of development and finding and acquiring talent through, the minor leagues. I just like the way they can do it. So I would say those would be my three teams.
I like that you have three teams, by the way. That's pretty good. Go ahead.
No, who's yours, Bob? Who do you like?
I would probably say I grew up, like, when I was real young, probably more of a Reds fan. They won the World Series in '90 over the A's, and that was a big deal. I liked, loved Chris Sabo and Barry Larkin and those guys.
Dude, I had Red Specs like Chris Sabo. I'm happy you mentioned that because I like them too. I also follow a lot just like.
Yeah, they had a good crew, but then it was interesting. It kind of flipped because the Indians in the mid to late '90s, I mean, when they had, Manny and Albert Bell and Jim Thome, Sandy Alomar, Robbie Alomar, I mean, they were raking. Earl Hershiser was there for a little bit. And so I probably flipped. I would say I'm more of an Indians fan now. And they never played for a long time outside like the one interleague game series. And now they were doing that all the time. But never, like, neither one of them were ever good at the same time, really. So it's not like you ever had to really choose, like, pick your team, find out in July, by the 4th of July, who's still decent. And that was kind of it. Someone threw in there Eric Davis in the chat. Eric Davis was great. He got hurt a lot, but Eric Davis was a phenomenal player ultimately as well.
This is so funny because you guys brought me back now. Now I got nostalgia. So I went back and looked up Mickey Tettleton.
Yeah.
He was a Ranger.
So his son Tyler Tettleton played with my brother at OU.
Really?
Yeah, because they're from Oklahoma. They're from Oklahoma. Yeah,
that's a small world. I just remember for the Rangers, he batted like this. Like his bat was like horizontal.
Yeah.
He was like this, and then he would raise it up. But I just liked it because he had a big chew in, and his jersey was always like flopped open.
Oh yeah.
It was just kind of like he was just out there, just like it was just a practice, but I'm playing in a Major League Baseball game.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's crazy. Yeah. His son Tyler was the quarterback at OU for Nathan's like last 3 years. So they were buddies. Really good player. Good dude too, as well. But that's it for our tailgate talk today. We'll get some more stuff fired up here as well. And coming up next, Shaggs will wrap up the show with his parting thoughts. All right, so these are parting thoughts. I mean, I didn't know if who would want to eat the most hogs in a dime a hog night, or whatever you would like.
I think we have a clip of that of NCAA football 2026, but I wanted you to put that in there, Pat. Throw it up there. College football programs with the most AP top 10 wins, and the only reason I put this up there is we've heard a lot about the SEC and them trying to throw their weight around and it'd be good for them. And we didn't have to go to 12, right? We could have stayed with 4 and here's what it is. And you can't even say that this is based on their conference. They added Oklahoma. Clemson's not even in their league. You have Michigan, you have Ohio State. But Ohio State 26, top 10.
Yeah, if you can slide over, Pat, the graphics so they can take a look.
Go to the next one. Go to the next one. There you go. Next graphic. Boom, right there. That's what it is. And when you see that, you see the consistency. You see, we were talking about Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles and what they are to the community that is here in Columbus, Ohio. One, be very grateful that you have a team that's as consistent as that. And when you look at the top 3 are the ones that you would automatically think that these guys, bona fide, I said it earlier, like consistent, done it at a high level. Clemson's there, LSU, 17 top 10 wins. But like that is what it is, guys. I mean, there's 7 teams that have double-digit top 10 wins in the last 10 years. Ohio State having 26, had a huge run this last season. LSU had that huge run when they won the national championship in 19. Again, though, it just shows consistency wins. Excited for the Buckeyes this year because of the guys that they have on the team.
Absolutely, sir. Pretty darn sweet stuff there. Well done on that, you. Well done on the show today. Stay locked in here tomorrow for the Bobby Carpenter Show.